Oh, well, fine. I guess I don't need money from you.
Okay.
No, don't bring it up. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lights, Camera, Nonsense, where we give you all the latest movie news you may have missed. I'm Nick, currently making Zach sicker with every single second.
Oh, boy.
Simmons.
And I'm the black sheep of the Butterfield family, Zach Smith.
Butterfield?
Yeah.
Is that a reference to something?
Mrs. Butterfield?
I don't...
Wait, is that
That's
the
Butterworth.
Butterworth.
You mean the fucking syrup?
Yeah.
With the lovely woman that it's casted out of.
Yes.
Aunt Jemima is the correct answer there. That's a far superior maple syrup.
You're a far superior maple syrup.
Oh, well, thank you. Let's roll out the previews, Zach. It is the week. It's Thanksgiving week. It's November 23rd that we're recording, but this will be up the week of Thanksgiving.
Correct.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday. Happy day to you.
As someone who used to work retail for the last...
Oh, yeah.
How many years has it been since I was 16?
Since you were a little boy.
12.
You really want to age yourself?
Yeah.
Well, you're 28 now. I did it for you.
12 years.
12 years.
Basically, I've worked every Black Friday and Thanksgiving ever.
Yeah.
In my life.
Oh, same.
Since working. So now I don't have to.
Is this the first year where you don't have to do it?
Yes, it's the first year.
Ooh, that'll be relaxing.
Yeah.
Well, you have the day off?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Nice.
Gonna enjoy it with your family?
Yep.
Cool.
Eat some stuff.
I won't.
Oh.
No, I mean, I'll probably stop by, take a slab of bird
what
leg.
are you eating there? That's
a big slab of turkey meat. A big chunk. And then I'll
chunk is better than a slab.
Well, you don't like the word slab?
Slab sounds like you're dictating off of it.
No, that's a slate. That's a slate, not a slab.
It's the same thing.
Slab, I think of like ice cream, actually.
Like marble slab.
Marble slab. Yeah. Delicious ice cream. And then, Blue Bell.
Cold Stone's better anyway.
Mm-hmm. Well, whatever. Do you have any plans for Thanksgiving? I mean, are you going to watch any specific Thanksgiving movies, or do you...
Is there a Thanksgiving movie?
There's absolutely Thanksgiving movies. I'm glad you brought that up.
Please name me a Thanksgiving movie.
Thanksgiving with the Cranks.
The lesser-known sequel that takes place less than a year after the previous movie.
Yeah. Tim Allen has murdered his entire family.
But has set them up in the dining room.
Yeah, replaced the snowman with their bodies. Let me look up... Oh, I just typed in thanks movies. Which I think
is that the new OK Boomer?
It's the new slogan. No, it's just thanks movies. Okay, so Freebirds, the animated movie that came out in 2013? Was it really 2013?
I never saw this one.
Okay, it's an animated film. It looks like it's made by...
Is that DreamWorks or Blue
DreamWorks.
Sky?
It's definitely... No, it's probably Blue Sky. Hold on.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Google is being a bitch. I couldn't tell you. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That technically takes place at... is that Thanksgiving?
It's like a Christmas movie.
You're a Christmas movie.
Isn't it?
No.
What are they trying to get home for?
Thanksgiving. It's centered around the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm pulling up the synopsis right here.
Please.
I have it right here.
Okay.
No, I'm just confirming it. I'm not gonna actually read it out. That's okay. 29 best Thanksgiving movies for 2019. Thanksgiving films to watch this year. This is from Good Housekeeping.
Oh, so a source that is very reputable.
Hey, they sell all the plastic pumpkins that your mom or grandma has ever... the cornucopias?
Yes.
The big horns that you could stab a child
the
with?
horns of plenty, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I call them cornucopias.
Well, that's the correct term.
But horns of plenty?
For people who don't want to say cornucopia or can't say cornucopia...
Is it too much of a fucking chore to say
it might be.
cornucopia?
You don't know their life.
Cornucopia.
Well, yeah, see, that's not how you say it.
Cornucopia.
Definitely.
So Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is number 1, so fuck you.
Okay.
Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, which should have been obvious.
Okay.
I can't believe you didn't even think of that, you loser.
There's a Scooby-Doo one in there, I'm sure.
Addams Family Values, which is the sequel, which takes place around Thanksgiving. There's a Thanksgiving scene in it.
One scene.
Yeah. So Addams Family Values is number 3. Babes in Toyland, which is 1934, is a really old film, but...
Wait a minute. Babes in Toyland?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that.
Also known as March of the Wooden Soldiers.
Yeah, with Laurel and Hardy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's Christmas. Because they're giving away presents.
This classic film is aired as an annual Thanksgiving tradition in certain parts of the country.
Certain parts of the country.
Okay,
don't
well,
observe
so you're
Christmas.
totally just really they observe Thanksgiving but not Christmas.
Correct.
We're not getting it. Rocky is apparently a Thanksgiving movie because of the Thanksgiving dinner scene. We're gonna go into the semantics about what makes a holiday movie when we get into the next holiday.
I'm pretty sure there's a Thanksgiving scene in The Godfather. Is that a Thanksgiving?
Well, let's keep going down the list. Garfield's Thanksgiving is number 6. I'm going faster. Krisha, which is a horror film. That's great. Thank you. Anne of Green Gables, Fire and Dew, which is a fantastic band name.
I was actually thinking that was like a good spin-off series.
Fire and Dew.
Anne has had enough.
She's Hunger Games, but with Anne of Green Gables. I mean, matches. Home for the Holidays, which is a Christmas movie, except for the Thanksgiving, apparently. That's in it. It's been a while since I've seen it. Freebirds. We're getting a lot of the same. The Oath, which technically, did that even come out?
What is that?
That's the one where, in a not too distant future, the government decides everybody must take a loyalty pledge on Black Friday, which opens a rift during one family's Thanksgiving dinner. Will they survive the weekend?
Oh, it's The Purge, but different.
Yeah. It's a class thing.
Yeah.
So, Pieces of April.
What the hell?
Jim Henson's Turkey Hollow, which I have set up to watch, but I haven't watched it yet. Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay, no.
The film actually opens during a Macy's Thanksgiving Day
shut
parade.
Up. No, this is bullshit.
The Last Waltz. We're moving past it. Tower Heist.
What?
It's the same thing. Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade is centered around the whole thing.
God.
That's when they do the heist. Remember Scent of a Woman, the Thanksgiving scene in that? This list goes on and on. The Blind Side. There's a lot of sad movies in this. You've Got Mail. Paul Blart Mall Cop. Which is technically Black Friday. Like, Black Friday movie and Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Who watches a Black Friday? What is that?
No, it's not a Black Friday movie. It's a movie that takes place on Black Friday or during Black Friday, and it's all about consumerism and all that stuff. So that's part of Thanksgiving and thanking everybody for giving.
It's not part of Thanksgiving. You just perceive it as part of Thanksgiving
because it's when all the sales start. Yeah. Thanksgiving Day sales. Sometimes the day before Thanksgiving Day sales.
Sometimes the week before Thanksgiving Day sales. So those aren't the good ones, though.
Yeah.
Don't fall for it.
Don't fall for it. We are consumer experts.
I consume more than anyone.
Hey, you know how much that microphone you're using is worth? Less than $20.
Priceless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm using it.
Yeah. This one's even cheaper. This is actually like 10 years old, this mic. It only shocks me a little bit when I touch this a little bit. Ow. So, Thanksgiving movies, they're abundant. They're out there.
I think like 3 of those are legitimate.
Okay, how would you specify a Thanksgiving movie then?
I would tell you, but I don't want to.
Okay, sure. I guess, yeah, we'll dodge around this question. I'll do that this week.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving and Black Friday.
We're going to have the same conversation.
About Christmas,
in a couple weeks,
and we're doing a whole month of Christmas-themed stuff. Yes. Trust me. I actually have something big planned. Oh. I'm going to have a special guest show up, and it's going to be really exciting.
You're going to whip something big out?
I mean, yeah. For all the audio listeners to definitely see.
The table.
It'll get right up in your earphones. Gross squishing noises. So tell me about some
get that looked at.
What have you been watching?
Well, we took last week off, so
happy birthday.
Thank you. My birthday was last week.
And that's why I'm bringing it up. You brought up last week. I'm bringing up your birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I said thank you.
Did you have a good birthday?
Yeah, it was good. I had some great sushi.
Oh, yeah?
Very, very good sushi.
Very expensive sushi.
No, actually, it was very affordable.
Oh. I wouldn't know. I don't like sushi.
Yeah.
We're not going to touch on that one. It's fine. Just raw fish. Whatever.
In rice.
I guess,
with seaweed, depending on which. Dude, no. A fucking spider roll? Man, those
spider roll?
Yeah.
There's spiders in that thing?
Absolutely. Just eat full-on spiders. Just shove them in your mouth.
I already eat 8 of them a year. I'm good with not eating any more.
That's not actually true.
How would you know? Are you awake 24/7, 365? Huh? Do you dispel the myth by eating 9 spiders and go, fuck you, statistic?
No, but there's plenty of things that have dispelled the myth on its own.
I mean, I wouldn't trust the place I live. Oh, look.
I'm glad we're doing the podcast.
Spider.
Don't open your mouth.
Don't.
So, the last 2 weeks, I've seen a few things.
A lot of stuff. We took the 1 week off. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut it off.
No, you're good.
We took the 1 week off where one of the biggest streaming services
Yes.
is now in the market, and I guess it was kind of good for us because we got to watch a whole bunch of that stuff that's on there.
And I'll touch on that last, I think, because there's a bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, I continue to watch Black Mirror.
Cool.
It's still sad.
Yeah.
So far, I really liked White Christmas, which was the John Hamm one.
Wait, the new one? No, that's the one with Anna Kendrick.
No, John Hamm. He's like talking to this other guy in like an enclosed space, and like you can block people out from your memory.
White Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, I completely forgot we were talking about Black Mirror.
Yeah.
My brain lapsed, and I was like,
you're thinking about Noel.
Why are you watching Christmas movies?
No.
Noel is the one on Disney Plus.
No.
You're watching the episode of Black Mirror, White Christmas.
I will get to Disney Plus in a minute.
I'm sorry, I keep bringing it up.
I really liked the episode White Christmas. That was a really good one. And then I also liked the one with Daniel Guerra. No, hold on. I can never say his Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah.
From Get Out.
Yeah. Where he's kind of in this like facility where they have to keep being active to supply power to the world, and
it's like a streamer culture, but to the extreme. It's streamer culture.
Those two are probably at the top for me right now.
Oh yeah.
I did just finish the one with Waldo the bear.
Yeah. What'd you think about that, and how parallel it was?
Yeah, that was like, I felt like if I had watched that when it came out, I'd been like, oh man, that's crazy. And now I'm watching, I'm like, well,
in real life, how that's happening.
Oh boy.
It was just like when we mentioned it. I'm probably going to say last week, but last podcast, previous podcast, where we mentioned one of the first episodes was the prime minister who had sex with a pig.
Correct. Yes.
And then that ended up happening.
Yeah.
So crazy how the world works.
Maybe Charlie Booker writes life.
Oh, man, that'd be insane. There is I don't know if you've watched it. I think it's the season after the one that you currently described, but it's an online dating one where you basically find your perfect match, and then you live a certain amount or something. It's been a while, but I just remember enjoying it. Like, you go to a specific community to find your perfect match.
I don't think I'm on that one.
I think it's the next one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's a good one. It's an uplifting one. There's actually happy Black Mirror episodes.
Pretty sure I have one episode left of season 2.
Okay.
And then I'll be on to the next.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm really intrigued how you perceive the following episodes.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just be in a good mood. Be like high and raised spirits.
Well, I watch them on my lunch break with my mother.
That's sad. That's very sad.
Other than that, we actually saw Charlie's Angels last week.
I completely forgot about that. We had one of the worst experiences.
It was so bad. Okay, let me preface this by saying the reason why... Well, maybe not the reason why. The reason why we saw it was because Casey really wanted to see it. She's been looking forward to it.
It was the first red flag.
And if you recall, I have told a story on this very podcast where we went and saw It Chapter 2.
Yeah.
In which a fight broke out.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the 30-minute delay it caused, well, really it was a 5-minute delay, but they rewound it 30 minutes.
Which is, they never do.
Yeah. Because of that, we got a rain check voucher for any movie we wanted to see.
Yeah, I forgot that this was connected.
So we figure we'll use our rain check vouchers for this movie.
Sure.
We invite you to come along. You come along against your better judgment, I'm sure.
I had to. Here's the thing. I was across town hanging out with other friends of ours, and I was like, oh shit. I'm late, so I gotta meet them over there at the movie theater. So I'm rushing to go see Charlie's Angels 2019 with you guys.
So we obviously get there before you.
Mm-hmm.
We use our rain check tickets, and as we're doing that, they go, "Oh, hey, by the way, there was a fire alarm today."
After they use your tickets,
there's a fire alarm today, and your movie probably will start on time, but it might be 30 minutes late. keep in mind, we're there like 5 minutes before the movie starts.
Yeah. So that's a pretty
so
big
I'm
delay.
like, okay, well, it's probably going to be late because as we walk in, we see a line of people just standing outside.
Really
the
excited
theater.
for this movie.
Yeah. A line of people being like 10 people.
Yeah.
And it actually ends up taking 40 minutes for it to start.
Before we even start walking in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually show up before you guys even go in, which thank you for waiting.
That'd be pretty crappy because we had your ticket.
Yeah, that's very true. But you never know. I mean, I trust you guys. I love you guys.
Oh.
Yeah. And you didn't text anything when I said I'm on my way, so I was like, okay, well, hopefully they're still outside. So I get there, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'm sorry I'm late. And you're like, nah, you're actually good.
Yeah. We thought we were going to be late.
Some little fucking scamp decided to pull the fire alarm as a prank.
We don't even know exactly what happened. We just know a fire alarm went off.
Yeah, this is my theory.
And it affected all movies too, because the guy had like a clipboard that he was going through. He's like, okay, yeah, that one's good, that one's good, that one's not good. So we finally get into the theater. We go up to our seats. Charlie's Angels is a PG-13 movie.
Indeed.
So the crowd there skewed a little younger.
Indeed.
Nick,
a bunch of fucking kids.
Describe exactly how these children looked who were sitting in our PG-13 seats.
These two little boys who I don't know where their parents were. Like, I guarantee you they were not anything above 12. So already breaking a rule.
Yeah.
All right, the MPAA is there for a reason. God knows what you'll see in Charlie's Angels 2019. Ice cough.
Well, I'm sure they were there
with friends
for a reason.
They were there because they pulled the fire alarm, and they definitely ruined my evening.
Yes, that's a good theory. I like it.
So, well, and it's just because it was a Friday night, right? Or was it Saturday night? Saturday night. I don't know. I've been working every day. And so we get there. We're sitting down. We're like, oh, okay, these two kids in our seats.
Well, so we walk up to them and like, oh, those are our seats. But the credits are currently rolling.
Yeah, for the previous
screening.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, hey guys, were you here for the movie that just ended? Or are you here for the one that's coming up now?
They just stare at you.
They stare at me and point at the screen. And I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
Clearly they don't speak English. And so you just kind of step aside. Casey doesn't know what's going on. And then you just stand there guiltily.
I'm not sure what that meant. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe they were here for the previous thing. And as we were walking in, of course, the end credit stinger pops up, or mid credit stinger. So we hear the end of the movie essentially.
It's okay. It wasn't really much of a spoiler.
No, it wasn't. But still. So I pull off to the side because I'm like, okay, well, I'll let these kids finish their movie.
Yeah.
Maybe they just really like the credits. There was that guy you tripped over the time we saw Parasite.
We don't know if he enjoyed the credits. He was just a very aggressive, calm individual that said, go on. So I don't know if he had a knife. He could have had 1,000 knives.
Well, these children definitely had 1,000 knives.
You never know. They have their kicks, their shoes is what they call them.
I step off to the yeah, that's good. You're up with the youth.
Yeah.
I step off to the side, and we're kind of talking, and you go, well, that's definitely my seat.
Yeah.
And then as we're discussing this, they just get up and
then
move.
They move because it's still empty because people are still trying to decide if they want to go in or not because the credits aren't over. We weren't sure when we were walking in because the theater was so big if the credits were still going. Like we did until at least for me, I couldn't even hear the credits or the music or anything until we were like halfway through, and I was like, "Oh shit, why are they letting people in?"
Yeah,
there's no.
Well, and it was weird. I think they let people in because hey, there's a bunch of people in the not even waiting. What do you call it? Lobby.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people in the lobby. Foyer, very French.
Oh.
Just waiting to go in there, and like this floor manager, I guess, I don't know what you would call her.
Doorman. That's what it's called. It's doorman. I know. I worked the job.
Okay, I'll trust you. This doorman was just like, get them in. Like, let these people in.
Let them be
like,
free.
Like we're dying to get into the Charlie's Angels showing.
Well, I think they didn't want to break any fire, exit.
I guess, but that lobby's pretty big.
It's really big, and there's plenty of space, but there were like cops walking around, just like nobody, like who. Well, I mean, it's their job. They're technically security for the movie theater.
Right.
That's normal standards and practices. But they were just kind of standing around letting whatever happen. That's what they do. So they eventually get up and walk. And we come to find out as we're sitting waiting for the next showing to show up, another 30 minutes. And we realize, or I at least hear, at least fucking 20 kids just yelling and taking pictures and doing whatever.
At the very latest.
Yeah. And, of course, I realized this, Saturday evening, kids are going to go see a movie or do something. Like, I saw them, like, fucking skating around outside the movie theater when I was walking. I sound like an old curmudgeon.
You sound like such an old man.
I don't care. These young fucks need to get out of my movies, especially Charlie's Angels.
I felt so bad, too, before we went in.
Yeah.
We were getting stuff at the concessions, and I'm pretty sure they were in that showing, these two young girls in front of us, and they took, I swear to God, like 2 decades to pull out like $5 and change.
Because it's their babysitting money, it's their dog sitting, whatever. They nicked it off an old curmudgeon.
The lady behind the register was just so done.
Guess what? That's what you get when you work at a movie theater. All right, I worked at one for almost 5 years. Yeah. I get it. That's why you want to be an usher.
So eventually we do get to sit in our assigned seats.
Yes.
That we ordered online. No, wait, we didn't order online.
But you still bought them and select them because that's the way that they pick seats in that movie theater.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to the movie.
No, we haven't. Because this is such an ordeal.
Yeah. I never have this experience at this movie theater.
I don't know why we keep having it.
You have cursed tickets.
These were cursed tickets. Because as we're sitting watching the rest of the credits, they end, and then all the lights come up. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of silent. Nothing's happening.
It happens.
All right, that's fine. They're behind. We'll wait. And then, 30 minutes, another 30 minutes passes, and you're like, okay, this seems like a long time. Yeah. I'm going to get up and go check. And literally, as soon as you hit the doors, the lights start to come down.
Like the movie's ready to start.
Then they come back up.
Yeah.
And then they go back down. And then they come back up. They came off and on, I think, like 4 times in a row.
Yeah, they didn't know. They did not know. They panicked as soon as that fire alarm was pulled.
So you were coming back, and Casey and I are fucking busting out laughing at this point.
Yeah, because
this is just nonsense.
Yeah. I would have just left at that point. If it was just me, I would have just left.
As you sit down, just movie starts.
Yeah.
No previews. No nothing.
Ads. Yeah.
Just shut everything, all the lights down, and hit roll.
Yep.
So it starts going, and then you're like, the screen looks weird.
Yeah. So we noticed that the aspect ratio wasn't changed because usually whenever they finish a movie, the curtains from the left and right pull up so that they can, I don't know, it's a projector thing.
Yeah.
There's a specific reason why. I think to let less light into the projector screen. But they didn't retract because they didn't go through the normal sequence of starting the movie.
So the whole movie is in...
Like 16 by 9, like square.
It's not the full screen.
The parts of the screen were bleeding onto the curtains.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. And then it was just a bad movie.
It was just a bad movie. So it could have been worse, I guess. You could have... Oh, no.
There could have been another fight, but at least that would have been like...
That would have been exciting. I would have immediately stopped watching Charlie's Angels and started watching 2 kids fight over a fucking candy bar. That would have been... I should have started a fight. That would have been great.
With the child?
Yes. Well, no, I wouldn't be in the fight. I would be like, hey, who took my Snickers? And then they would be like, oh, I'm a fucker.
Why does your child voice sound like Mickey Mouse?
Oh, I don't know, little boy. I'm a little boy. I don't know, man. I'm not very good with voices.
Yeah,
it was just a bad movie. If you haven't already and you were wanting to see it,
I don't think it was like
it wasn't even successful. Ford v Ferrari actually outperformed it that weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty much a big bomb.
And here's the thing: I don't know if you have it in your news. Elizabeth Banks blamed men for this.
Yeah.
Blames men, like, oh yeah, the reason it didn't do as well is because men are sick of.
She was saying like, you know, the movie industry is dominated by male genres, and then when people brought up like, oh well, you know, Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, they did this much.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, the comic book industry is a predominantly male market, which like we're getting away with that. Like I think it still does probably skew male.
Sure.
But like if you're familiar with the comics industry and the kind of upheaval it's going through right now, like it's becoming way more inclusive. So there was a lot of backlash on that part as well, because, you know, women who enjoy comics were coming out and being like, yo, this is like super belittling of like the women artists and writers who are part of the medium.
Actually in the higher ups. Kathleen Kennedy of Star Wars.
It's like, I'm sorry, like women didn't even see your movie.
Yeah,
like I don't know what to tell you.
It was just a bad movie.
And like I was saying, I don't think it's abysmal. Like I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen. And there are parts that I found funny.
Yeah,
like there's there's a part at the end, you know, when that guy falls on that ice sculpture.
Oh yeah, and she says the one-liner.
No, not that.
Because that was pretty cringy.
That was there was a pun in there. And it was like,
guess he needs to be put on ice or something.
Or I think he got the point.
I think he got the point. It was like Mr. Free because it was a sharp point.
No, I was I can never remember his last name, but Sam Claflin or
Claflin?
Something? Yeah. The guy
Games.
who plays the big tech guru in this. He's
Allegiant,
just like, he fucking loses it. He's like, why is this happening? It fucking killed me.
Because you don't expect that from a character like him. Yeah.
And like, it just, the movie starts taking the piss.
Yeah.
Like, at the last 20 minutes of it. And I'm like, why wasn't that there the whole time?
Why wasn't this funny?
Like, I'm going to spoil a bad movie for anyone who has any interest in seeing it. So, like, skip ahead 10 minutes, I guess. But Patrick Stewart is the villain.
Yeah.
And he fucking chews the scenery up like nobody's business in that,
He's great.
that last bit.
He reminded me a lot of Sam Rockwell
Yeah.
in the original. Not the original, but...
And it was great. And I'm like, why wasn't there more of this?
Yeah.
And
because they needed to have the twist.
And I thought, like, a lot of people are giving Kristen Stewart a lot of guff, you know.
I actually thought she was the best out of the three.
She was the best part of the movie, frankly.
The no-filter archetype is one I tend to enjoy in media because they can get away with writing ridiculous dialogue.
And I can't remember. Do you remember the main girl's name?
She is from Power Rangers. I can't recall her name.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So
that's how she got the role because Elizabeth Banks was in that.
Well, I'm gonna use this as a point because her and the other angel that's not Kristen Stewart are just kind of there. Like, I'm not getting... You don't get a whole lot from them.
They don't really have even that much of a character development. Like,
no.
One of the other angel, whose name I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't have it pulled up. Oh, wait. Yes, I do. She has, like, kind of a weird romantic relationship with Noah Centineo.
Totally thrown in.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Naomi Scott and Ella Balenska, who is the romantic one. So.
Well, and like this romance is just so last minute and thrown in. I think the two characters share like maybe 10 minutes, and I'm pretty sure it's less than that.
Oh, together, yeah,
of screen time. And like if that were flipped the other way around in like a standard quote unquote male dominated action movie, it would get derided just as it should be here. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
like
I think that a lot of the problems that I had with this film are aimed directly towards one specific person who was behind a lot of the creative process of this movie, and it's Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah.
Like she wrote and directed and starred in this movie, and honestly, it was a lot for her to focus on.
Yeah, it was, and like to her credit, when she first started like kind of addressing this big bomb. She was like, you know, if you're going to fail on something, you might as well have your name on it 4 times. I'm like, you know what? That's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
I like that.
Every single time.
That's a good attitude. You know, like it sucks, man. Like, I'm sorry, you made a shitty movie. And then you start going on this tirade about how, like, and don't get me wrong, there is definitely a representation issue in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed. But you saying like that's the reason this movie failed. You don't make $8 million off of just a female audience.
Yeah, she got success in Pitch Perfect 2 and 3, so
Right.
why wouldn't she have success in
they're
something else,
huge,
an action
huge
franchise?
successes.
Yeah. So she had the pedigree, she had all the chances in the world, and she just messed up.
Yeah.
But at least she's somewhat owning it.
Kind of. That was before she went into it, and then she kind of backtracked. And I haven't.
Of course
seen
she
her
did,
dress in it.
because it's bad press.
Yeah.
Oh, all press is good press. It's not. So I was a little bit busy. Like I said, I was a little bit under the weather this morning. Yesterday, I've been trouble sleeping. It was workload, all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the main reasons why we took the week off, to kind of have me recuperate, but also to, I don't know, have your birthday. And
Yeah,
everything.
I got to relax with my birthday.
That's the fun part of being an independent podcast, my
Yeah.
friend. So I've been busy watching. I try to watch movies, but I've been watching TV. There's a lot playing right now.
There is. There was a lot before Disney Plus, and now.
Oh yeah, which is what we'll get into. But I've been watching. I'm still watching Mr. Robot. I'm halfway through season 3, so I'm almost caught up. So where I can start watching the last season. It's been getting rave reviews. Like,
oh, good.
I have to avoid a lot of clicks on my Google homepage because it's saying Rami Malek. And I was like, come on, Google. But I've been watching that. It's Always Sunny finished its 14th season, and they premiered 2 episodes. I think it was last night actually, and they were okay. This whole season, it's been like a lot of callbacks, but also a lot of like, hey, we're doing new stuff.
Right.
So I mean, there was a lot of great episodes. There's one where they go to the zoo. I won't spoil anything, but they go to the zoo, and there's a lot of like digs at people who text and how they text. So it's just funny the way they go.
The goat one, right, with the petting zoo. Is that the one?
Yes, that's part of it. Yeah.
Sweet.
And then I've also been watching His Dark Materials and Watchmen.
Nice.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, tell me. Well, I guess you can do it in any order you want, but I was gonna say, tell me about Dark Materials.
So His Dark Materials. I never read the books, and I never watched the movie with Daniel Craig and
Golden Compass.
Naomi Watts. Golden Compass, yeah. So I literally have no background in this franchise whatsoever.
Yeah.
Other than the controversies that it has. But so I started watching it. I love Daphne Keane, who was in Logan, playing X-23.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can't recall the actress who's in His Dark Materials who plays the Naomi Scott. Naomi. Who? Naomi Watts. Sorry,
You said it before.
I know, I said it before, and then I went Naomi Scott. I went back to Charlie's Angels. It pulls me back in. But then there's also, I almost said Hugh Jackman. James McAvoy plays the Daniel Craig character. I'm just going off of the cast from the movie, which was a bomb. But this show, not only is it well budgeted, it looks fantastic. It's Amazon Prime Video, I believe, is what it's on.
I thought it was HBO.
No, it's Amazon Prime. Yep.
You sure about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Pretty sure it's HBO.
You really want to do this again where I'm right and you're wrong?
I do. Well,
I'll call it part 2 of Zach is totally wrong. Oh, wait. Okay. It'll be this awkward silence. He's looking it up. He's gonna be wrong. It's Amazon Prime.
Read it a weep, motherfucker.
Okay. I guess, whatever.
Nick is wrong. Part 1.
Damn it. So Daniel Craig and Naomi Scott. No, it's really well budgeted. It's got some great acting skills in there. The story is very slow.
Yeah.
But there's a lot going on. There's a lot of mystery. There's multiverses, and there's everybody's got a demon, which is like a tethered part of you, like
a stand,
like Aiden in Beyond Two Souls.
No, don't talk.
It's that. It's that, but it's a corporeal creature, and the creature effects are really well done, and the voice acting for the creatures are well done.
Nice.
There's some actors who you won't remember the name of, like me right now, and you'll be like, "Hey, that's the guy in that one movie." So there's a lot of that.
Nice.
But it's pretty good so far. I think it's only episode 4 so far.
Oh wow, that far along?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Lots been going on, but again, it's super slow, and I feel like it's really aimed more at trying to say sorry for the Golden Compass, or trying to,
like, in terms of quality. I
think that, but also readapting it to make it more, because they have the special effects for it.
Yeah, right.
They are. I mean, it's come so far since 2003, I think was the first one, or 2000.
Let's look it up.
And so, while the story is slow, I'm definitely into it because I want to figure out the not solutions, but
Golden Compass was 2007.
Oh, wow. That wasn't that long ago.
Nope.
So, 12 years. But technology, even in that 12 years, has come a long way.
For sure.
So, I like it. I highly recommend people try it out. I think everybody is busy watching Watchmen and all the other stuff that's going on right now. But I really hope that people give it a shot, because that way it'll be greenlit for more, because the content is there. It's
it's based off the book series.
The books by Philip Pullman, his Dark Materials trilogy.
Yeah.
So, and the opening theme is fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah, it's by Lorne Balfe.
Okay.
So, and he's a famous composer. But I really like that, and I'll keep watching. I think it's only 8 episodes. I think they're doing the same thing with Watchmen.
Yeah.
And let me just hop into Watchmen. Are you caught up?
I'm not. I still haven't watched episode 3, so I'm a fair bit behind.
Is episode 3 the latest one?
No. 5.
5?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Man, it's been progressing as well. I'm all caught up. I won't spoil anything. But the way that they are reintroducing the characters, like we said in previous episodes, I feel like they're doing interesting things with them. And there's definitely a lot of mystery, much like the original graphic novel that it's based off of. They definitely leave you hanging with a lot of questions. They'll answer one question from a previous episode, but then they'll give you 5 more.
Yeah, I've noticed that too with the 2 episodes that I've seen, that they kind of will do as you said. And
I actually think, again, won't spoil it, but they are making it more accessible for people who maybe not necessarily have read the original graphic novel. I still recommend people still read that. It's a good read. It's take you a couple hours, 1 or 2, depending on how fast you read.
Yeah, that would be a full day, I think.
Full
probably.
day? Yeah.
I guess maybe half a day.
Maybe to kind of...
It's kind of thick, and it's...
Kind of thick.
And it's...
Sorry.
Pretty, what's the word?
Dense?
Dense, thank you.
You're welcome.
So...
Both in its story and its...
Yeah, it's kind of hard to just, skim through. And then, a big portion of that is the Pirate of Blackwater. And,
Tales of the Black Friday.
Yeah, thank you. Pirates of Blackwater, I'm pretty sure, is a late 80s cartoon show, by the way.
I want to look that up now. So, I mean, I recommend it for people, for even people who haven't read the comic, because great character acting. They introduced... There's a lot of parallels, though, to characters from the past, especially with the most recent episode. Won't spoil it, but they explain the origin story of one of the new characters.
Okay, cool.
And that's why I said it's probably more accessible for people who haven't read the comic, is because they kind of go back to 1985.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, it's almost done, and by the time it's done, just subscribe to HBO and check out that in his Dark Materials.
Yeah.
So let's I guess, do you have anything else that you've seen?
I mean, I do, but it's all part of Disney Plus.
Then let's get into that. Let's get into the news. Is that the news?
Do
you have, what else?
We can. We do have some Disney Plus news that we can segue into what we watch.
Let's morph it into. I'm just trying to be as economical about it, because we're good on time.
So
we're about halfway.
Disney Plus launched last week to mixed results on the first day.
Well, and here's the funny thing. I was working that day, but I was like, all right, I want to give it a shot. So I signed up for the free trial and immediately started playing The Mandalorian on my phone.
Oh, really? No issues?
11:45.
See,
I
saw the stuff coming out, and I had already made the decision beforehand. Like, okay, big new launch. If working with online games or any other online services has taught me anything in the past, it's don't do day one.
Yeah,
just don't do it.
Yeah, it's always trouble.
Wait a couple days for it to blow over, and there you go, you're right as rain.
Yeah.
So I didn't do it on the first day, and I saw all these reports coming in of oh yeah, I
trouble,
can't get
sign
in. It's crashing, and none of the assets are loading, and I'm like, ha. I made the right choice.
I mean, you kind of did, but you were also out of the loop when it came to The Mandalorian.
Not really, because I just did it the next day.
Oh, okay.
And it was totally fine. But,
hard launch for, that's what she said. Hard launch for Disney Plus. But, they recuperated within 24 hours, so that's not bad.
They did. And the reason they were having that much trouble and why everything was crashing was because it hit 10 million subscribers on the first day of release.
I was one of those subscribers.
You were. Now, to be fair, I'm sure that takes into account free trials.
Yeah.
Because technically you are subscribing at that point.
And at this point of recording, I'm technically a subscriber because the free trial was over.
Yeah. 10 million subscribers on the first day, and users spent a collective 1.3 million hours streaming.
Yeah. There was a lot to watch.
There was a lot. Okay. So we'll segue from this into our Disney Plus review, I guess.
Shit. Hold on. This is a bad idea.
What did you do?
I unscrewed it because I thought it would go. I thought it would get longer. You know what I mean? I did the old ring your dick to make it bigger. Hold on. I don't know how sex works.
Do you know how masturbating works?
What's masturbating?
Oh boy.
Sorry. All right, we're good. We will get good microphones soon.
So, Nick, tell me your thoughts on the Disney Plus experience.
So I'm probably going to because of your sarcasm and the amount of it, I'm going to say that my experience hasn't been that bad.
Nice.
It's a not as well, and granted they have the history, but not as well developed of Netflix. There's definitely some things that they can fix in the future, and they already said that they have plans for that. But here's one thing that Disney Plus lets you toggle that Netflix has never, since they updated it to this point, fixed, which is the autoplay of something when you hover over it.
Yes.
You can actually turn that off on Disney Plus.
So, and not only can you turn it off, but the autoplay does not, it's not, there's no audio to it.
Yeah.
It's just a
slideshow,
like
kinda.
a 10-second loop.
Yeah,
essentially.
That's what I want. That's what people want. If they're like, oh, that looks interesting, let me see 10 seconds of it.
Yeah.
That's what they'll get.
And then again, no audio, so all you're getting is the moving picture, and you can plainly see. Like, you don't need to actually autoplay the movie I'm hovering over to get me to watch.
I don't want the ending to the Apple Dumpling Gang to be spoiled for me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a movie, The Apple Dumpling Gang. It stars what's his name? Let me look at it.
Apple
Dumpling Game.
My name's Apple.
Tim
Your
Apple.
name's Dumpling. Apple Dumpling.
No, Leave It's a Beaver? Was it one of those guys? Hold on.
Dennis the Menace.
No.
Little Rascals.
Apple Dumpling Gang. It's really intuitive. I like it. Apple Dump. 1975.
We are fucking
Don Knotts.
4. Literally 4 years old. We both just laughed at the term Apple Dump.
Holy shit! It's got a sequel. The Apple Dumpling Gang rides again. I'm watching these. It stars Don Knotts and another guy whose name I can't.
Who's not as famous as Don Knotts.
Well, I mean, I'm looking up the details, and Tim Conway. My bad.
Not as
way more famous than Don Knotts.
Yeah.
And Bill Bixby. It's 1975. Apple Dumpling Game. I don't want that to be spoiled. I already know there's a sequel now.
It was good for a bit.
It's always good for bits.
Yeah.
I'm always good for bits.
So yeah, I will actually echo your sentiments on Disney Plus.
Okay, good.
I think for initial launch, it works really well. Very occasional hang-ups.
Like loading?
The last couple episodes of The Mandalorian I've tried to watch, they've kind of hung on the
logo.
Disney logo that comes up, and then they'll start like playing the recap over that, so I don't get that visual for like 5 seconds.
What internet do you have? You don't have to give the service, but you can give like the bandwidth that you have. Do you feel like it runs on pretty low?
Yeah.
Upload, download speeds?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fine.
I'm running it. I ran it locally on my phone, and that's.
The phone has been great. I've actually been. Casey and I have been occasionally going to the gym after our hikes, and whenever I'm on the elliptical or the treadmill, I've been watching DuckTales. So
wait, DuckTales, the original? That's a good one.
Well, actually, not the original. The
new one.
Yeah, the new one.
Oh, okay, cool. It's got a whole bunch of famous actors.
Yeah, it's great. It's like one of those. I don't know if you ever watched. I don't think you're as up on old.
You're gonna call me? Okay.
Old cartoons that have been updated for like a newer version.
Yeah, keep sneering at me. I don't know. Give me the list of give me the name
Well,
of
I
it.
was just gonna say, did you ever watch Mystery Incorporated?
Yeah.
You did.
Yes.
You did the Scooby Doo one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched
okay.
all the Scooby-Doos.
I stand corrected. My apologies.
What's the new Scooby-Doo? You know?
Yeah, it's like that in that regard, where it's an update of an older show, and then it like incorporates lore into it.
Yeah, it's got like an actual backstory.
Right, and character
Canon.
developments and stuff like that.
That's
so
cool.
It's really
I like
fun.
that.
Yeah,
That's for the adults. The kids are there to watch
Right.
the cute little
the
characters.
Beagle Boys get stomped once again.
Oh
Fucking
shit!
putzes.
Losers. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, other than the occasional hangups, I think there's some improvements that I would like for the UI in terms of like telling me what episode I last left off of, or being able to. Yeah, other than a few minor UI tweaks, I think overall it's good.
Yeah, and those again, like I said, they'll be introduced later. They know of the issues that they missed.
I mean, they're updating The Simpsons too. I don't know if you're familiar with that whole thing that happened.
So apparently, when they updated the Simpsons to HD, they had to change the aspect ratio, which cut off a lot of visual gags for the series, and they also cut out episodes entirely, which. Is a discussion in and of itself, because while they will completely not put on specific movies or TV shows or episodes in particular because of the content matter, they'll also just put a disclaimer at the front of some other ones that will say, hey, this was made in a previous time when this was okay and socially acceptable.
Jim Crow is still a thing when this got made.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we know. But again, kids don't know that, and they're watching this stuff for the first time. So hopefully it'll help educate people and ask questions about stuff that has happened in our history without getting too political or serious about it. But when it comes to watching old content that we grew up watching or our parents grew up watching, hopefully it will, broaden horizons of budding animators or voice actors or actors or, whatever, the future. Yeah. This is really nice. I like the nostalgia, the fact that the Disney Vaults doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, for sure. There are a couple things missing. Like
what?
For instance, the classic, the very first DCOM, Disney Channel original movie for Double Payments, Under Wraps. I don't know if you
the Mummy one.
The Mummy one.
I don't remember that one.
I love that one.
Maybe it'll come in the future because there's a lot of stuff that they have plans to release in the future.
I also watched a lot of So Weird. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
That was like X-Files for kids.
Okay.
Essentially, it took. I think it was in Canada.
Oh, it was the first thing that pulled up. Ooh, I like the poster for it.
It's in Erie, Indiana, because it's Erie.
Yeah. It's got a lot of the same actors that are in like all of them. I saw one kid from the what is the skating one? Like the rollerbladers.
Oh, Brink.
Brink.
Yeah.
Is that on there?
Yep.
Oh, I gotta watch that. Blank Check was also one I looked up. That's on
there. They have the 13th Year. Some good stuff. Casey and I watched Xenon.
The sequel or
no, the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. Boy, that's a movie.
Yeah. all of them are movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, like in the whatever.
Yeah. It's endearing to be able to go back and kind of walk down this nostalgia way. And then in lieu of that nostalgia, you have good original content like The Mandalorian.
Okay, so I want to get into The Mandalorian, but I feel like I need to talk 30 minutes about a far superior show that's going on right now. Mandalorian, fantastic. Great show. But listen, there's a better show that's on Disney Plus. Why do you take the wind out of my sails, man? I was going to do a whole thing, a preamble, and get into it.
Your last name's not Lincoln, so...
other people have made speeches, right?
No, just the one.
MLK. John F. Kennedy.
What's the L in MLK stand for?
An L?
Yeah.
The L? Luther?
No, it's Lincoln. Martin Lincoln King.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just keep that. I'm keeping that in. That's not going to age well. What The World According to Jeff Goldblum, which I put on immediately after watching The Mandalorian because I'm like, I want to watch original content, and I'm not ready for High School Musical, the series, which it will be watched by me. But after I've finished and caught up with everything else, which is only a couple more weeks with all the HBO shows and Mr. Robot, and with the holiday season ending. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm rambling. The World According to Jeff Goldblum is just Jeff Goldblum researching something that he's always been interested in. The first episode is shoes and the shoe industry and how people are spending like $30,000 on one pair of shoes because a celebrity wore it one time.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It's basically a Vox special, but with Jeff Goldblum narrating
that's how
it.
you described it to me before. I haven't jumped on it yet because I'm going to watch it with Casey.
Yeah.
And she's been busy anytime. So.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We're almost out of here.
Yeah.
But Jeff Goldblum he's so Jeff Goldblum. And I mean that.
Yeah.
He's very quirky. Like if you watch Thor Ragnarok, which everybody did.
Yeah.
He just plays Jeff Goldblum.
He does. We watched the bump, or I guess they have actual trailers in their extras. We watched the trailer.
Oh yeah.
That they have for it, and Casey's like, "Yep, that's some Jeff Goldblum shit right there."
I love the ice cream episode too because it feeds on nostalgia, and I don't want to spoil it, but good episodes. And I think they come out the same day as The Mandalorian, so I just double up on those.
Yeah, so every original is a weekly thing,
which I love.
Yeah,
I actually really love because it makes you get those water cooler moments. Which, if you don't know what a water cooler is,
you don't have a job.
Quit your job at Chick-fil-A or something.
I'm sure they have water at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, but they don't have like a water cooler.
They might
like on the middle at the fountain dispenser. They could do that. They could talk. I don't know. They're Chick-fil-A.
Probably depends on the time.
Delicious chicken. Is those water cooler moments where you talk about the new stuff that you watched that week, which is kind of what we do and was one of the main reasons why we wanted to do this podcast is to kind of talk about
definitely that
kind of stuff. But I like that they're weekly. They're not binge. So like when 13 Reasons Why drops a whole season and that's 13 episodes, or any other Netflix or Hulu show where I guess Hulu does it weekly as well.
They do it weekly.
But Hulu was.
But they will occasionally drop multiple, like if it's a season premiere or something, or a season finale.
They'll do a couple episodes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like that. I actually find it way more manageable. I'm one of those guys who, when I start something and I really enjoy it after one or two episodes,
you'll keep going with
I'll keep going.
I'm the same. I'm the same.
So I end up getting this huge walk of content. Thank you. Big old pot of content, and I feel like I feel obligated to finish it.
Yeah,
which is a personality trait that I'm not particularly fond of, but here I am.
Well, that's how you watch another season and a half of Sword Art Online.
I'm not. No, I stopped after season 2 after the
whole thing.
That whole thing, and when I realized that because I was watching it at the time when it was coming out. There was the third arc that was leading into Gun Gale. And then I was just like, and then it was not going to come out for 2 more years. So I was just like, I'm just going to drop it here.
So you watched Goldblum.
We can go back to Mandalorian.
I was going to say, I actually watched another original Disney Plus show.
Is it?
It was the Imagineering Story, I believe it's called.
Yeah, I think it's... Well, describe it to me again in case I'm mixing it up.
It's like a little mini documentary series where it's kind of hard to explain because I think the idea is to kind of give you a broad timeline of like Disneyland and Disney World and kind of like how Walt Disney kind of created this empire.
Okay, so it's not just the parks or the...
I don't think so. I've only watched the full first one and half of the second one.
Are they hour long?
They are hour long,
okay.
Which I didn't know until I was halfway through the first one.
Why is this? I don't care. Okay, let's keep going.
So, like, it starts with Disneyland, and it kind of goes through, like, the abysmal opening that went through. Like, I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm not, so maybe I need to watch this.
Yeah, it is interesting, especially if you aren't familiar. It's definitely kind of
eye-opening.
Yeah, about like everything that had to be done. Like when they first opened Disneyland, they had a choice of either including water fountains or toilets because they were so far behind in development.
Oh wow!
And it was opening day, so a contractor came up to Walt and was like, "Hey, do you want toilets or water fountains?" And he went with toilets. Because he's like, well, you got to have a place to go. You can't just be pissing in bushes. Which
you can piss in the fountains.
Yeah, it's true.
People do.
But because of that, people were accusing him of like not fraud, but essentially because there were no water fountains, people thought like, oh, it's so you have to buy a Coke. Because there's no water fountains. There's nothing to drink. You have to buy a Coke.
Oh, when you were saying water fountains, for some reason I was thinking like the water features.
Oh,
like
no.
in parks.
No, like drinking fountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that makes way more sense. It's way bigger of a Sophie's Choice.
And then people were making counterfeit tickets. So
Nice.
like, you had like 3 times capacity in the park on opening day, and it was an utter shit show.
Oh, wow.
So it's stuff like that they detail. But what I think is actually more interesting, and maybe that's just coming from me, who already is familiar with this, like broader information.
The fact that they even bring it up to begin with.
The more interesting part for me is when they go into like personal stories. So they actually interview the main engineer for the Matterhorn.
Oh,
and
wow.
he's talking about like all the tests that they did, and he was like, man, I wasn't even a roller coaster guy, and here I am like designing this huge gigantic steel structure and like going in a bobsled without any seatbelts for testing. And
Nice.
I'm like, I don't even know how I got here. And they have this really like poignant, sweet moment where he goes in to the inside of the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
And there's this wall that a bunch of cast members and engineers have signed over the years.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I've never signed it because, I felt like that was never really my place while I was here.
Yeah.
So, I'm not up there. And then they were like, well, do you want to sign it? And he was like, well, yeah, I would actually love to. So he signed it. And then it's kind of like this retrospective on how he got there, which is really sweet. And I think for me, that would be a more entertaining show for me.
Yeah.
If it went into,
just goes from
like,
person to person.
person to person, or like even if you want to do it on a ride basis, because that's kind of how that Matterhorn one started. Is they just went like, okay, first we're doing the whole park, and then we're gonna focus on the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
So that's what like 15 minutes of this episode is going to be devoted to, is the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
And if you could just do like that in 30-minute chunks, like I feel like that would be a better show overall.
For sure.
But again, this is coming from someone who's more familiar with the material.
Yeah, and I'm not.
So
my only basis is saving Mr. Banks. Which...
Right. Yeah. This is, you only get a little portion of that in there, and it's maybe not
because it was
exact.
Yeah, they definitely took some liberties with that movie.
But yeah, I would say give it a watch for sure if you're interested. Because I always think that Disney information is really interesting because it's so kind of like mixed up, and it's like almost an empire forged out of
the bodies of its workers.
That a little bit of that.
Oh, I was just guessing.
I mean, not actual bodies.
Oh, I was just guessing.
But like sometimes it seems like they succeeded when they really shouldn't have. It was like
it's like a miracle type of situation.
Yeah.
I always like success stories when it comes to that, even though there's a lot of hardships into that. But I love that Disney is taking the moment, or at least maybe they're capitalizing on it. But I know that people aren't probably subscribing to Disney Plus specifically for this show. I'm sure that there are, but not as much as Mandalorian or what have you.
Yeah, and I've talked about before how I really miss those like Travel Channel.
Like the Travel Japan
like,
thing.
We're gonna go to all the like the 10 scariest roller coasters in the U.S.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. Like it's nonsense, but I like it.
That's YouTube.
And that's kind of what this. I feel like I want that here.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe
you'll probably get that with later episodes. It's only one episode, right?
1.5.
1.5. Okay.
That I've watched.
But you know that it'll continue. Okay. So you get the basic premise.
But yeah. Other than that, the big one that I watched as you watched as well.
Yeah, the Kristen Bell encore.
Yeah, encore. I actually have that saved on our watch list.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested. I think she's fun. Mandalorian.
What do you have to say about the movie?
I think it's very well done. I think that the series is, and it's weird because this almost never happens, and it's usually inconsistent, but the series is actually getting better with every episode.
I agree. Yep.
Especially, and you're all caught up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're only 35-ish minutes.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's so nuts.
Yeah.
This gets 30 minutes in the fucking documentary
They got more to say with that.
I guess.
Listen, I think they're smushing this first season to, one, gauge the interest in it, which I'm pretty sure it's already greenlit
Uh-huh.
for like 10 seasons. But they're trying to find out how successful it is. And honestly, I think I could speak for a majority of the subscribers for Disney Plus. This was one of the main reasons why people subscribed to it.
Absolutely.
It was I signed up for the free trial the day before because people said that they could log on and watch it, and I did that immediately after work. And it's fantastic. The set design it's basically
so
just a
good.
movie in 30-minute segments.
Really is.
And
You
Baby
could
Yoda,
wait-
I will kill you for Baby Yoda.
Oh yeah. Well, Baby Yoda.
We don't know the race. It's Baby Yoda. Everyone's calling it
I
Baby
know.
Yoda.
I
John
have
Favreau.
not known Baby Yoda for very long, but
Oh yeah, spoiler. If you haven't watched The Mandalorian, like 2 weeks into this new platform, it's really weird. If you haven't, I understand. I'm busy working every day. You're busy working a lot.
Well, it's 30 minutes too.
And it's 30 minutes. It's like such a small commitment compared to the other shows that I've mentioned
and that's
today.
literally the first episode.
Yeah, and it's like 2 or 3 minutes of credits and like 1 minute of like the not preamble, but Star Wars logo and the
yeah.
So it's even less than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love the character of the Mandalorian. I think Pedro Pascal is a great choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Nolte as this little gremlin guy.
Yeah.
I have spoken.
Fucking yeah, that kills me. Werner Herzog is like the biggest creep in this. Holy shit!
Because that's what he sounds,
I
looks,
know.
and acts like. That's
I
just
know.
Werner Herzog.
I
That's like
know.
Jeff Goldblum.
But it's great. Fucking Carl Weathers.
Yeah, it's such a good cast. And with the third episode coming out, we won't spoil it because it literally just came out.
Third episode's already out.
Yeah. With the third episode out and a lot of outpouring of love for the female director, for the first female director of a Star Wars property.
Which I don't know if you remember, she was who was tapped for Doctor Strange.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Obviously, they saw the potential in her back when they were developing that movie, and now that they have her for this, I think she's directing maybe 1 or 2 more episodes. I know Bryce Dallas Howard's episode is next, which will be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But I really hope I'm really excited for whatever she makes next.
I think she's also on. No wait, did I get that? I think I got that wrong. I don't think it's Doctor Strange. I think she was who they got for the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, okay. Well, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
But it's Disney, so they have a huge pool of people. Let me actually look her up. Deborah Chow, by the way, is who we're talking about. Flowers in the Attic, The High Cost of Living, The Hill, a lot of independent, looks like dramas and scary movies. But yeah, I personally love, especially just the way that it was directed and the overall cuteness Baby Yoda is portrayed as.
Yes.
It's my new favorite character.
And like. Again, we're not going to spoil the third episode, but the choreography in that is up to the third episode. I felt like the choreography was kind of like whatever.
It was very. So the first 2 episodes are very Western gunslinger type of direction,
right?
And then you get the third season where it's more of
third episode.
Did I say third?
You said third season.
Oh, my bad. Third episode of this season. It definitely takes a tonal change.
It does, like hardcore.
Yeah.
Up to that point, I had been like, I don't really see why this needs to be PG-13. And then you get to a point in the third episode, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
I get it now.
And they're definitely ramping up the action and ramping up. And there's always been an action scene in each episode, but I feel like this, especially with the little last bit, it was definitely. I was just like, I'm in. Yeah.
Very, very good. And the score is amazing.
Yeah. Who does this?
Ludwig?
I think it's Marco Beltrami.
Ludwig Göransson.
I just like the theme. I think he did a really good job on the soundtrack.
Yes, yeah.
And the do. Yeah. It's very Western.
It is.
Again.
Yeah. Or even like there are points of this where it's like
I thought you said there were porns of this.
there probably are.
Or there will be.
There are points of this where it's almost like a old samurai movie.
Yeah. I'm thinking Akira Kurosawa
right.
or what eventually inspired the Few Dollars More trilogy, Sergio Leone. I mean, you could pick very specific movies that each episode is based off of, and it's just good cinema. I think we're not having to pay. I mean, we're having to pay $7.99, which I want to get into for just a sec, to watch this series that is basically a big budget film split into little bits.
Well, and frankly, if you haven't done the free trial yet, and you're somehow avoiding not only spoilers on the internet, but the spoiler that we had on this very podcast.
I'm sorry.
um,
I said no spoilers, and I'm like, hey, this cute character.
You could just wait till it's over.
Yeah.
Do a free trial and
watch all of them
bust
together.
it out. Yeah.
I think after it's 8 episodes, right? So 8 episodes of 30 minutes.
No. I thought it was 6.
Oh, I think it is 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 3-hour binge.
And that's what, like, this is a better feeling to have, right? Like, it's better to have the feeling of like, oh man, we're already halfway, and I want some more.
Yeah, and I actually thought it was kind of funny. I didn't mean to cut you off again, but I feel like they could have even ended it with this episode, the 3rd episode.
Yeah,
in a way, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then do a sequel, you know, in this way. But I think that's kind of what they're aiming at. They're trying to, like I said before, gauge the interest. Which
right. Well, again, it's better to have the feeling of I want more as opposed to, oof, okay, this needs to end.
Yeah.
Like you would run into like with the Marvel Netflix shows.
Netflix shows, yeah.
Where by episode 8 or 9, you're like, oh man.
We haven't even talked about the Marvel stuff. I mean, we kind of touched base on it a couple episodes ago about like what Marvel movies aren't featured on there.
Yeah,
but like the Marvel movies,
they actually added quite a few other ones.
Oh, they did
for the launch. Yeah, so all Iron Mans are going to be have
that's
now.
good.
Where I think initially it was Iron Man 2 or something.
And that was the only one.
Yeah,
weird.
Yeah, they have a bigger portion now. It's still not all of it. Like Black Panther isn't on there.
I think it's because it's still new and because the deal for Netflix is not
they still
expired.
have it on Netflix.
Yeah, I think with Captain Marvel and Infinity War, or no, Endgame.
Endgame's on there. Infinity War isn't.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I think it's the same thing. I think it's on Netflix or some shit.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a couple issues with that, with the licensing stuff. Like a couple days ago, I was like, you know what I really want to watch right now? I want to watch Coco. And I own Coco, so I could feasibly and I have it digitally too, so I could just go into my Apple TV.
You're a big Coco fan.
It's a great movie.
It is a good movie.
But I was like, you know what? I'll watch that here. And so I go to watch it, and it's like, oh, hey, by the way, this one isn't available until the 29th. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, so I actually want to get into that because you said that it wasn't available until the 29th. I have a different issue. So you see that TV over there? Sorry. Yeah. It's a smart TV.
Is this one of the ones that is not capable of the Plus?
I pulled it up on my Vizio Smart TV, which I had never had a problem with a Vizio up until literally this year, and now I have a bug that's trapped in between the screen and the LED lights. I was like, what the fuck is this? And found out it was a bug. I think a fruit fly. And then I also had trouble when I was muting something and then unmuting it. It would just it was cut out the audio completely to where I would have to restart the TV. Picture is fantastic though, and when I tried to play Mandalorian on that TV, it says, "Sorry, this device doesn't support Disney Plus."
Yeah,
even though it can update.
It's not just yours. I think all smart TVs are not supporting it because they're maybe not all, but a large portion because their firmware is not updated or some shit. Like they don't use.
But they can do that whenever. Like you think that they would prepare for something like this?
There's some specific compatibility issue between whatever Disney Plus is using now, for their app, and what technology is in current smart television.
It's not even smart TVs. It's also smart devices like Google Chromecast. A lot of the older ones you can't use Disney Plus on. So I had to watch it on my PC like a fucking pleb on my tiny ass screen. So
I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get you a Fire Stick for Christmas.
I prefer Chromecast.
But it doesn't have Disney Plus.
A new Chromecast.
Oh, does that have Disney Plus?
Well, I mean, it'll roll out eventually. Well, the Fire Stick, is that confirmed?
Does Chromecast doesn't even... I mean, I guess if you get a Chromecast Ultra, it has stuff built on it.
That way I can do Stadia as well.
Oh, stop.
We won't talk about that.
No, this isn't a gaming podcast, sir.
Or Google.
Yeah.
So would you say that this is what I wanted to get back to? Would you say that it's worth the $7.99?
For me, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I will kind of put a little asterisk next to that.
Oh, that's cute.
Because I had this conversation with a coworker actually who is very interested. He's a big Star Wars fan.
Was it by the water cooler?
It was not. It was in our office.
Oh.
He was asking, like, is it a good value? And I'm like, well, for me, it is because I like all that old programming, the nostalgia programming. So I got Gargoyles on the list. I got the original DuckTales. I got
Apple Dumpling Gang,
Recess. Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens. All these fucking things.
all the stuff you grew up on.
You're right. That I fucking the original X-Men animated series. Spider-Man, which
I know. Still gonna do it.
All this stuff, which is great for me. Like, I love all that stuff. I can never recommend subscribing to a service for one show.
Right, like The Mandalorian.
Right, because it's a great show. It's probably the best thing on Disney Plus.
But you're paying essentially over $43 for 6 episodes, 35 minutes each, waiting each week.
Well,
even until the end.
And that's what I'm saying. What I was saying before. If you're really interested in The Mandalorian, but you don't want to jump on Disney Plus, just wait. Just wait till it's over. Yeah. Get it for free.
I think people who just absolutely could not miss an episode of The Mandalorian, they subscribe.
Which, to be fair, and I think they probably knew what they were doing with this. They had Baby Yoda at the end of episode 1.
Spoilers.
It's a big spoiler. So it's like, well, if you didn't jump on that,
you missed it.
Yeah. Like, now you're done. So
it just all depends on you. It's like every other subscription service. It just depends on your interest in the content that they provide.
And granted,
on the service.
even $8, not a lot.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do a free trial right now, watch those 3 episodes, and then just as the weeks roll by, I'm pretty sure it'll be done before a next monthly payment is up.
Well, it's a 7-day trial.
Right, but you would pay for it once for a month.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So then you would probably, I'm pretty sure Mandalorian will be finished before the point where you get charged again.
I was going to say, it's technically, I think, like half the price of Netflix right now, too.
Yes.
With a lot of content.
It's like $69 for a year.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking nuts.
That's insane. For the amount of content that you're never going to finish.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can say that about any service.
Ever.
So, I highly recommend it, especially for the shows that we mentioned. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No,
Any other news that happened?
Yes, we can get into this real quick. Thankfully, I knew this week we were going to kind of cover a gamut of reviews here, so I trimmed it down from the normal news cycle, so this should be quicker.
Good.
Should be.
Is it going to be the Joker again?
No. There was a news story, and I didn't put it. There are actually 2 news stories. I didn't put it on there.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
No, I'm not talking about it. It's stupid.
As soon as you brought it up, I'm like, I kind of want to talk about it. No, now we're good.
So we'll start off with some season renewals.
Okay.
Some shows are getting renewed for another season. Proverbial favorite, DC Universe's Titans was renewed for a season 3. Now, I can't comment on the quality of season 2, but once again, I can never fail to mention how shit the first season was. So I'm going to do it here.
That's fine. And any show where you feel like you feel obligated to watch a whole bad season, especially the first one, to get to a good season, is not worth spending your time. And this is coming from somebody who's read the reviews that second season is really good, and they ramped up the quality.
Literally the same for the first one. I was in the minority for the first. I don't know why. I can't tell you. It's baffling.
I think it's the same thing with it's funny that they're not related, but also very related. Gotham. I thought that the first season was like, what the fuck is this? And until they finally find the tone, which is this kind of Schumacher-esque, but
campy-ish.
Yeah, it's a very well blended mixture of Tim Burton and Schumacher's film series. And I feel like they took the campiness of that, but also the dark tone of it, because people die. Characters that are well-known villains would die in that show that aren't dead.
People's faces get cut off and displaced.
And there's fucking 4 or 5 different Jokers, and I think that who's in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Cameron Monaghan, I think he does a fantastic job as Joker. Like, I'm seriously on par with Heath Ledger, and I'm gonna get shit for this. On par with Heath Ledger, and they're all different takes.
Right,
Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix.
They're all
I think they all did fantastic performances of it, and Gotham's good. It was.
You can keep screaming at the rafters. I'm probably never gonna watch Gotham.
I know.
Sorry.
Well, because it's 5 seasons of like 23 episodes each, and it was a slog in some episodes because like they need character
that's
development.
Not the best ring endorsement.
Well, it's about young Bruce Wayne becoming Batman, and I didn't even get that far. Like, I literally got to the season where he's on the rooftop and he's got like the prototype fake Batman, but he's like 14 at this point, and you're like, it's still you need to go like to the Himalayan mountains like Batman Begins and like train with Ra's al Ghul and all that stuff. Ra's al Ghul was in that.
Liam Neeson's waiting for you.
Yeah, no, he was in the show. Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, I thought you meant Liam Neeson. I'm like, shut up. This is not part of the Nolan.
No. A lot of Batman content out there.
Additionally, Netflix's The Witcher was renewed for season 2 ahead of its premiere.
Fuck yeah.
It already has a planned debut date.
Yeah.
2021, which is nuts. Usually when those things get announced, there's no, like, additional release date.
Like the Cowboy Bebop show.
Yeah.
Which got delayed because of John Cho's injury.
Right.
I think that's amazing that they have so much faith in this series and the excitement for it, because it's December 20th is when the first season drops?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
And did they say how many episodes? Like 13?
I don't remember. That's probably right. It's usually 13.
That's a lot of content, man.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Also, Amazon's Lord of the Rings series has gotten an early renewal for a second season.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
I mean,
it's an interesting development. I feel like this didn't happen a whole lot before, or maybe it's just it wasn't as widely as known because of the internet wasn't so pervasive.
It doesn't happen a lot for big budget sci-fi fantasy shows.
Yeah,
it was never that big. Like, it was always a one season to one season thing.
Right.
But when it came to like
and it's like
and
when Big Bang Theory would come out with a season, and they're like, "Yeah, it's been renewed for 4 more seasons." Like, okay, yeah, that
makes sense. It's a sitcom.
It's a Chuck Lorre
yeah.
thing, so of course it's gonna get renewed.
Yeah.
People tune in and watch it every week.
Yeah, thank God it's over. I watched every episode.
More Netflix news. Netflix and Nickelodeon have actually signed a multi-year contract to produce exclusive original animated content. So it sounds like Netflix is trying to get
SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, well they're doing a spin-off series.
Yeah, against Steven Hillenburg's direct
wishes.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, as long as I'm alive, they're not going to make a spin-off."
Yeah.
Well, they waited until he died.
They did, yeah.
Fucking scummy.
Very, very uncouth, as it were.
Yeah, uncouth. Yeah, let's be fucking pragmatic about it.
Yeah, this smacks of like we need content that can
Netflix. Yeah,
Disney.
they feel. It almost seems like they're kind of drowning a little bit. I know it's Nickelodeon.
They're losing Disney stuff. They're losing Friends. They're losing The Office. Like, these are all their biggest streaming things.
They're getting Seinfeld.
They are getting Seinfeld for 3 years or something.
Oh shit, that's not long.
Speaking of Friends,
You're my friend.
Oh, you're my friend too.
Cool.
Apparently, when we were talking about how Jennifer Aniston commented on there was something in the works for a Friends reunion.
Talking out of her ass, yeah.
And it was all vague and shit. Well, apparently there's more to it than that. And it turns out that a reunion special is in early development for HBO Max.
Oh, wow.
So they're really trying to get you to jump on that. Honestly, I think there's enough content already for HBO Max to justify
buying HBO Max?
Yeah, as opposed to, like, I might drop Netflix for
HBO Max?
Yeah.
I feel like all the stuff that I'm watching on HBO currently, luckily has been pretty conclusive in its ending. Like, I have shows on HBO that I've watched religiously, and I bring it up every time. Boardwalk Empire?
Right.
Fantastic show. I don't think it was HBO. I think it was actually Starz, but Misfits? No, that was a British show. It was BBC.
Yeah, Misfits was BBC.
But I think there's plenty of good shows. Black Sails, fantastic.
Yeah.
But they all end after a couple of seasons. I feel like they're going to do what a lot of other streaming services do when they don't see the numbers that they want after the second season. They'll just drop it.
So that will be interesting to not only for HBO Max but for Disney as well, to see what they do if they start going that Netflix route. Of dropping it after 3 seasons because viewership goes down.
They don't have...
But that happens... It's crazy to me because that happens no matter what. Even in broadcast television, year in, year out.
Yeah. Interest just ebbs and flows.
Viewership just declines. It's just going to happen. When you are producing a show over 10 years, you're not going to pull in the same numbers at the very end, unless you're Game of Thrones and you're part of the unlucky few.
But there was that was because of controversies and news of what the future holds for the creators behind that show, which was a whole fucking sandbag of cat shit.
It's a good way to put it.
Thank you.
Netflix has also acquired licensing rights for Beverly Hills Cop 4.
Woo!
With the option from Paramount for an additional sequel. So we might get a 5.
We've talked about Eddie Murphy before on this podcast, right?
We have, yes.
I feel like I'm glad that he's making a comeback. I don't feel like he ever left, really, but he just kind of he got out of the limelight for a little bit to focus on him.
Yeah, he needed to kind of reassess his headspace, I think.
Which is fine, but it feels unwarranted. Like, why do we need a Beverly Hills Cop 4?
Why do we need it coming to America, too?
It's the same argument.
Yeah,
I'm on the same page with you. We can say that about any sequel that comes out fucking 20, 30 years after the last one. Yeah. Like a Lethal Weapon.
We could say that about Charlie's Angels. Why do we need another Charlie's
We
Angels?
did not. Trust me when I say that Full Throttle is a way more enjoyable experience than 2019.
We were talking about this a little bit after we saw the 2019 Charlie's Angels, and I was like, man, I completely forgot that in the first movie, Bill Murray is Bosley, because the whole time I was thinking, like, I'm pretty sure that was Bernie Mac. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh shit!
This is another one.
It was a sequel. Oh my god!
How can you forget about Demi Moore?
I just completely blocked it out of my head.
I thought it.
I like once I saw it, I'm like, oh yeah, that did exist.
Yeah. Holy fuck! I didn't talk about a movie I watched. We'll finish the series and then, or we'll finish the news and then.
Yeah, we only got a couple left.
Okay, good.
Legion creator Noah Hawley.
Yes.
Is that how you say it? He has been tapped to write and direct the next Star Trek sequel.
I'm super excited for this news. Not only because I'm an apologist for Star Trek Beyond, which was the
I never
third.
saw it.
It's actually really good. It's written by Simon Pegg and directed by, again, I think it's J.J. Abrams still? Or are you looking up Star Trek Beyond?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I was looking at my docket.
Oh, well, fine. Fuck me.
Sorry.
But I think that the whole Chris Pine, J.J. Abrams averse of the Star Trek films, I think all three of them are great to certain degrees. I think Into Darkness had some issues, but I think they're all great, and I'm excited because Noah Hawley, every single thing that he touches is fucking gold.
You love Legion. I know.
Fargo, Legion, and there was something else that he worked on, but I love his stuff. He's a great director.
This is interesting to me because not that long ago, there were reports of Tarantino.
Yeah.
Direct his last film being an R-rated Star Trek movie.
I really don't want that.
I don't either, but I wonder if this is, like, if that is a thing, is it in tandem with this, or is this that, but now it's not Tarantino?
I don't see Noah Hawley. Fuck. I don't see.
We're very white.
Very white, and we're apparently 4-year-olds too. So, how did we get in Charlie's Angels? PG-13. But I don't see him letting someone else take the reins creatively when it comes to direction.
Yeah.
When he has a perfectly good pedigree of past experiences when it came to television, at least.
Did you see the interview that Tim Miller did about the fail? Yeah, I guess it is a failure. Dark Fate.
No, I did not see the interview.
He was saying that it kind of bummed him out because, like, you have so many people on the back end, like executive producers and producers, i.e., James Cameron.
We'll get into that.
Who will look at something, an idea that you as a director have for a movie, and be like, no, I don't want that. And it's James Cameron, so you can't say anything. So, like, he was talking about how originally in Dark Fate, he wanted I believe its name is Legion. Is that right?
The new Skynet.
That's
I'll get into that here in a sec.
It was going to win originally.
Yeah.
And James Cameron was like, "No, I don't want that." And at that point, you can't do anything. Yeah, it's his franchise. So, I'm two ways about it. On the one hand, like, I'll be the first to say, like, I'm not a huge James Cameron fan, and I know that, like, smacks in the face of every film critic ever. Like, oh, it's James Cameron. He's a genius.
Yeah,
and
but I think as we get older, we get less jaded about specific people. Like Martin Scorsese saying the things, and we won't get into it,
Yeah.
but him getting into the things about Marvel superhero movies aren't real cinema. Like, dude, get off your high horse.
he's an old man.
Yeah,
Old
dude,
man
you
shining
directed
cloud.
Hugo, you fat fucking piece of shit.
Well, damn.
Replace your glasses. They're too big for your face.
That's a reaction.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
he's made bad films in the
Yes,
past.
yeah.
Goodfellas
well, it's
is
like-
not a perfect movie.
It's like
Said it.
We oh, I fucking love Goodfellas. I'll fight you on that.
That's fine.
We actually said it, and we were not going to go into this, but here we are. When Jennifer Aniston weighed in on it, I don't know if you remember that, or maybe I wasn't talking to you. Maybe
It
I was
wasn't
talking to me. When she did, like there's all these articles like, guess who weighed in on the Marvel controversy?
I don't care. I don't read those articles
And
anymore.
Jennifer Aniston did it, and she was like, oh, well, like, basically those movies are bad. I don't see them. And then everybody's like, Jennifer,
Who I don't care about your opinion on Marvel
look
movies.
at your past experience here.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
You
you've
really
been in
want to
some-
talk
some
about-
good things, but you've also been in some pretty shit things.
Yeah, you remember? I was the one with Gerard Butler.
Not Ugly Truth.
Ugly Truth was the other one.
Yeah, that was
Captain
Captain Heigl.
Where she was.
Gerard Butler's been in some shit.
Dude. All of his movies are shit except for How to Train Your Dragon.
I don't know, gamer.
Yeah, all of his movies are shit except for How to Train Your Dragon. That was all the director's fault.
300 was good.
So, getting back to Tim Miller, I was going to get into it with my really quick review, but every single project that he's been attached to, besides Love, Death, and Robots, which he helped create, he's like after the movies come out, there's always controversy about
There's
him
always
clashing heads
something.
with the producers
Well,
or the
and
writers.
At some point, it's like it takes two to tango.
No,
right?
I know, but like there's a consistency
Right.
between his problems with every single person he works
Right.
with.
And like that's kind of what I was getting at before. Was I'm of two ways about it. Like, yes, I know James Cameron's kind of up his own ass. at
Yeah.
times.
Oh yeah, for sure. I made Titanic. Damn it.
But at the other time, like you saying that is just kind of an excuse. There's more that goes into a movie. And frankly, I think a lot of it is marketing. And you made like not you specifically, but there were two shitty Terminator movies before this. Like that's going to sour anyone's
And a
taste.
decent TV series.
Yeah, that lasted a season.
I think a season. Yeah. Lena Headey.
Yeah.
But do you have what other news do you have?
Because
real quick, I want to do the review and then we'll sign off.
well, if you want to do it, okay, okay, yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Real quick, DC's Black Adam was confirmed for December 22nd.
Yeah, The Rock
2021.
confirmed that on Instagram.
Yep.
They're still doing this.
Yeah.
They're still doing DC movies, and they're
I can't believe if this thing comes out, like this is on par with Gambit, right? Like that's been in development hell forever.
yeah,
If this actually comes out, I'll be shocked.
and it's not canceled or something like that. Because not only is it a Warner Brothers DC movie, which has not had a great track record, it's about centered on the villain of a character you introduced in a previous film, but it won't even have that character in it. I don't think Captain Marvel's not going to be in it. I don't think it's confirmed.
Think so,
But Captain Marvel, Shazam, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's going to be centered around the villain, which has been done correctly before. We're looking at the Joker and the numbers with that. But I feel like it's different. Like the Joker you can handle on a grounded scale and have it be more acceptable, profitable when it comes to the general audience.
Well, wasn't
moviegoers.
the idea behind
moviegoers.
Zack Snyder's Superman he wanted to do a more grounded one, and that rubbed people the wrong way. So I don't know how you get.
I mean, his
granted,
version.
like there's a difference between like trying to ground a literal like
Flying superhero.
savior figure, you know, like.
But like every director has a different version of grounded, or realistic, or gritty.
Yeah.
So.
Very true.
Let me dive into Terminator Dark Fate, which I watched in our break as well. I watched it on a whim, got off early from work one day, and I was like, you know what? On my way home, I passed by 6 movie theaters, so I might as well watch a movie I haven't seen in a while because I didn't want to go home. Home is a miserable place.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So I went in. There was not a lot of people because it's been out for a little bit. Started watching it, and it's good.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
It's on.
Fine is what I hear.
It's fine.
Actually.
I would say it's acceptable. I would say that there's some they go hand over fist about trying to retcon all of the bad shit.
Yeah.
All the stuff that's not James Cameron, it does not exist. Different timeline, I would say, because there's definitely a repeat kind of metaphor sewn into. There's definitely similarities between Dark Fate and Terminator 1 and Judgment Day.
I was going to ask, like, some of the criticisms I've seen is that it's a little bit of a retread. Would you agree?
But if it's a retread of a good movie that hasn't been out for over 30 years.
It's very true. And
Force Awakens.
Yeah, very true, very true.
So, I mean, it can be done, and even if it's, critics, which are supposed to be critical of the film, if they're going to be critical about that aspect, but, like, not really complain about the quality of the movie, I would still go see it.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed Terminator 1 and I enjoyed Judgment Day. There's bits of this movie where the CGI, I feel like James Cameron, you can afford a little bit better. Some of the smoothing of the CGI characters, it looks very fake.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have been done better. But obviously the story is well done, but I don't want to spoil the whole movie.
That's fine.
It's fine to spoil.
No. You don't have to spoil it. I feel like we spoiled enough on this podcast.
Well, okay.
Otherwise, the title of it has to be the one with all the spoilers.
Yeah, that's true. We're pretty bad and inconsistent about that. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Arnie, the Governator. I don't know what accent that was. Comes back, but he's obviously there's a story as to why he's in this timeline. That's very, very flimsy, like glass flimsy. But okay, whatever. Anything to have him back and have this be his final Terminator movie. Spoiler. And then Linda Hamilton comes back, obviously, after not being in a Terminator movie, as far as I remember.
Since T2,
Since T2. So she looks great. She's also one of the best characters in this movie.
Nice.
She's the fun one, which you wouldn't expect.
I would not expect that.
Because, like, the critics were kind of right about it being a retread. She's kind of the X factor in this movie.
Gotcha.
She is the same Sarah Connor from the previous two films. In fact, the way that they make this more canonized with the previous two films was kind of iffy to me at first, but once I got out of the movie, I was like, whatever. They just needed to get past that point so they could get to the action.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love the action choreography. I think the special effects are great. It's very reminiscent of the original and how unstoppable the enemy Terminator is. But it's just a good action romp, you know? Turned it on fully expecting a good Terminator movie. I liked it.
Well, very good. I'm glad.
They bring back a character who... But yeah, I enjoy it. And I think people who are expecting a good action romp, get into it.
Well, I'll give it a shot at some point.
Yeah, eventually. Is that all we have?
Yeah. Well, there was one last bit of news. Hey, this was shorter.
News.
This is like a 80% review podcast.
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't want to hear you complaining.
Fine, I guess.
Bob Iger just came out and said that...
Good for him.
He confirmed that after their Disney Plus shows, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and She-Hulk will be appearing in in the MCU films in some form.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's what we wanted, people. Yeah. That's all we wanted. A good TV show to be a jumping off point. My only thing is, while I always wanted it to be, and we've already said this, but I've always wanted it to be integral to the MCU. Now that it's actually integral to the MCU, very intimidated.
Yeah.
But exactly. They're all shorter seasons.
Well, and they are shorter. And I don't know what the runtime on those episodes are going to be, but if it's going to be the same runtime as The Mandalorian, that's not that shabby.
Oh, heck yeah. It's literally like a quarter of the time that Netflix did.
That's 3 hours of your life right there. That's nothing.
One afternoon.
That's one viewing of Endgame. Yeah. Less than that.
So I'll take that, especially if they're good. If they're bad, then I don't want them in the MCU.
It was interesting. He also said that this is just going to be the standard state of the MCU going forward, where properties will be jumping back and forth between the films and the shows. So.
That's cool. As long as the actors and directors are committed to staying attached to that franchise, universe, whatever, then I'm all for it. As long as they can come back and they don't replace them. And I know Marvel Comics do that all the time. They replace the characters, actors, whatever. But I'm interested. Yeah. Let's do it.
There it goes.
If people wanted to email in and just yell at us for all the things that we spoil today, or they just hate Disney Plus and everything Walt Disney. Like they hate love and fun.
Sure, yeah.
How could they email us?
You can send all your hate mail to lightscameranonsense@gmail.com.
What was the name of it? I'm sorry, I was staring at my Chinese
Again,
food.
send all of your hate mail to lightscameranonsense@gmail.com. I swear to, if our first email is a hate letter.
It's like, I don't really like the sound of Zach's voice. Oh. That is from my mom.
You should do a solo show.
Yeah. Well, we tried. So lightscameranonsense@gmail.com to send us your hate mail or your love mail or give us any suggestions for...
I just want to be friends mail. Like, that's cool, too. I like friends.
Yeah. I like that. So we can do that. And this has been Lights, Camera, Nonsense, keeping you updated despite our best efforts. Make sure to tune in every week for all the latest news, reviews, and how-do-you-dos. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. We're starting Christmas.
Yay!
Christmas. I'm making up a song.
Okay. That's the epitome of Christmas joy.
Yeah, just making shit up.
Yeah.
Being all jolly about it. All right. Later.
Bye.